Yamamoto is raging today in Bleach chapter 505, The Fire. Not a lot happened, but it was an amazing chapter nonetheless. So we get a colour page celebrating the 11th anniversary of Bleach, and Kone's actually on the front cover. You know, we haven't seen him for a long time, but there he is. And it's just Ichigo running to school, I think, because at the start of the school term. It looks alright, it's not a bad drawing. But then we get the best part of the colour pictures coming up now. And we see Driscoll Bursey, remember him? His skeleton is getting torched and crumbling away, in fact, as Yamamoto is saying how he finally gets to express his condolences to Chojiro, and he then says goodbye, and I suppose that's closure at last of Chojiro's little story arc. Then we get a really cool colour page of Yama, and he's just he's one angry dude, and he's orange, fire everywhere. Apparently he's called the Guardian of Hell that turns everything into ashes. That's freaking awesome. So then we go back. Then we return to the chapter. It's just a wall of fire as Yamamoto seems to sheath his sword, and Hisagi he's like, Captain Commander, and Yamamoto tells him not to worry, as he will crush and kill with his own hands every member of the rebel army. Now I don't think this is meant to be taken literally, but judging by Yamamoto's mental state at the moment, it might very well be. He then takes off into the sky and literally just tears up a bunch of buildings, and he is flying across Seirete. He is raging. He is so unhappy right now. Then we see glimpses of Rose, Miuri, Kensei, Unohana, and Ukitake. Unohana and Ukitake are unscathed at the moment, as is Miuri. Rose has taken a bit of damage, and so has Kensei. And then we see Soifon and Omeda. And Omeda doesn't know what's going on, so Soifon tells him that Yamamoto is enraged. We then see Momo and Shinji, which is really cool, because we haven't seen them for a little while. And she says she's never seen him so angry, and Shinji says he's never seen it either. He's also never seen the Captain Commander go straight to the front. And he says that they better hurry, otherwise the old man's going to steal all their fun. It then skips down to Toshiro and Matsumoto, and then Toshiro's pretty admirable. Well, no, he's admiring how Yamamoto is fighting so seriously, and they just can't let them They can't let the enemy defeat them so easily. We then get to see the face of Toshiro's enemy for the first time. He looks alright. He's kind of generic in design, really. He's got very thin eyes, sort of messy but quite low black hair, and he's obviously got that scar across his lip. Really cool though how he's got sort of Wolverine style weapons. He's got like claws on his hand, which look really cool actually. And he still hasn't said a word yet. Then it skips around to Komamura, and he has a massive sort of howl, and he roars at everyone to stand up, and he tells them how shameful it is that they lie down while Genryusai is standing. And everyone, including Iba, who's actually taking quite a bit of damage, they get to their feet and they're like, "Yes, sir!" And basically, it's just everyone's morale is increasing now that Yama is on the battlefield. He's fighting his hardest. He's just brutally killed a Stern Ritter. The Shinigami are back in this, potentially. And Bambietta says, "Hey, wait a minute, I thought you were about to die a minute ago, what's happened?" And everyone is getting a dosage of Ichigo-style resolve. Interestingly, we get a good look at Bambietta's weapon. She seems to have some kind of, almost like a cutlass, but with a strange protrusion on the blade. And then we go to Shinsui, my favourite captain, so this is always going to be good. And he says that, the good thing about Shinsui is you usually get a better insight into what's going on, because he's so wise. He usually tells you what's going on, pretty much. And he says that Yama's Reiatsu is echoing across Seirete, and he's getting goosebumps, and we see a little image of Yama flying, and he looks almost like a comet. And Shinsui says he feels like he's getting scolded by the old man. He feels as if Yamamoto is asking him why he's having such a hard time with such enemies, and he doesn't remember raising him to be a coward. And maybe this is just me being a bit of a fanboy towards Shinsui, but he takes a really cool pose, which could very well be a Bankai initiating stance. Don't quote me on that, because it might not happen. Why would he use Bankai? Because the Quincy will steal it? Yeah, fine. But it's an interesting pose nonetheless, and he looks freaking badass with Katen Kyokotsu. And we see the old man Stern Ritter getting all surprised, and Shinsui's about to leap at him. However, it then moves over to BUCKBEARD and Kenpachi. And this is where the Shinigami are losing once again. And BUCKBEARD he's so cool. The dude is so badass. He's so powerful. This is Kenpachi we're talking about here, and BUCKBEARD is lifting him off the ground by his throat. You know, Kenpachi, our insane fighter, his feet aren't touching the floor. BUCKBEARD is holding him up. and it's revealed that Kenpachi was also one of the special war potentials. And BUCKBEARD basically says one of the special potentials, look at him now, how weak. Kenpachi's face is covered in blood. He's not got his eye patch on either, so he fought at full strength and he's still been destroyed. BUCKBEARD says he overestimated him and it's time for him to sleep as Soul Society is about to be finished. And then Yamamoto makes his arrival. His destination was BUCKBEARD. He comes crashing in, massive torrent of Reiatsu, fire everywhere. And the art in this is amazing. And Yamamoto says it's been over 1,000 years, and we get BUCKBEARD's name at last. It's Juha Bach. And I think that probably translated a bit differently in the manga stream version, maybe to Johann Bach or something like that. But Yamamoto says he came here to annihilate you, and that's the last page. And they look awesome. It's Yamamoto staring down Bach, and Bach turns around to face him, and it's amazing art by Kubo. The picture is great. There's a lot of cool shading. I have to say though, with the way Bach's drawn in this picture, he looks a lot older than he usually does. Maybe not 1,000 years like Yamamoto does, but he still looks a lot older. This is though the fight of a century. You know, the fight of the millennia, technically. I can't wait for it. Bleach, this is a great time to be reading and reviewing Bleach. I'm loving this. Are you? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give this chapter a 9. It doesn't get a 10 because technically not a lot happened. The art, however, was amazing. We saw the face of Toshiro's enemy. We saw Toshiro's enemy's weapon. We saw Bambietta's weapon. The Shinigami are increasing in their morale. They're beginning to fight back. I don't think they're going to score any more decisive victories, however. Because, remember, a lot of them have lost their bankers. That puts them at a tactical disadvantage immediately. But however, what Yamamoto has done is, as the leader, he's managed to increase morale. And that is the main thing. That is what the Shinigami needed right now. So, you know, I give this chapter a 9. Bleach 505, The Fire. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out some of my other videos. This is a fantastic chapter. I can't wait for Yama versus Bach next week. What are your predictions? I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen, unless he skips back to Hoikumundo, but I doubt it. It was really cool seeing people like Shinji again. We need to see more of some of these captains like Rose, Ukitake, Shinji, and Kensei Unohana. Captains that have been shown, but they're not actually doing much at the moment. I mean, Shinji was pretty battered up when we saw him, but he hasn't actually been fighting anyone as far as we know. So yeah, we need to see all that. Is Kenpachi dead? I don't think he is, because it seemed like Bach was talking to him before Yamamoto arrived. Needless to say, though, this is going to be amazing. This is what we've been waiting for. Yamamoto torched Driscoll, and now he's here to finish things with Bach. That's all I've got for you today. There's not much more I can say. Thanks very much for watching, and have an awesome week, people.